Sometimes, what feels like control is just the illusion of control. In 1993, Sears was the Amazon before Amazon existed. They invented mail-order retail. They had the infrastructure, the customer trust, the distribution network, everything. When the internet arrived, they saw it coming. They weren't blind. They weren't stupid. They made a choice to stay with what they could control. Physical stores, paper catalogs, the system that had worked for 125 years. By 2018, they filed for bankruptcy, while Amazon became a trillion-dollar company. This isn't a story about missing technology. It's a story about why we choose familiar failure over uncertain success. The setup, the perfect position. Sears didn't just sell products. They were American retail. 125 years of trust, millions of customers, distribution centers nationwide. In 1993, they even launched one of the first online shopping platforms. They were ahead of the curve, not behind it. Then in 1995, a small online bookstore called Amazon launched. Sears executives saw it. Interesting, but it's just books online. People want to see products before buying. They want to touch things. They trust physical stores. Over the next decade, a debate raged inside Sears. Group 1, we should go all in on internet retail. That's the future. Group 2, we control the stores. That's our strength. We can't abandon that. Group 2 won, not because they were right, but because they were comfortable. They doubled down on stores, renovated locations, expanded inventory, invested in the physical experience. Meanwhile, Amazon kept growing. Books, then electronics, then everything. By 2005, Sears was struggling. By 2010, hemorrhaging money. By 2018, bankrupt. The psychological trap. Control, illusion. The comfort of control. Here's what happened in the minds of Sears leadership. When they walked through their stores, they could see everything. Inventory on shelves, employees helping customers, transactions happening, control. When they thought about internet retail, it felt intangible. Customers they couldn't see. Transactions happening invisibly. Technology they didn't fully understand. Visual, the psychological choice. Option A, internet, higher potential, unknown territory, loss of control. Option B, stores, lower potential, familiar territory, feels controllable. They chose control. But here's the trap. They didn't actually have control. They couldn't control. Customer preferences shifting online, younger generations abandoning malls, Amazon's prices undercutting them, convenience replacing the shopping experience. They controlled the stores, but they didn't control the market. The status quo bias. This is called status quo bias. The tendency to prefer things to stay the same, not because the status quo is better, but because it's familiar. Sears had 125 years of proof that physical retail worked. They had one system, one way of doing business. They understood stores, how to manage inventory, how to train staff, how to negotiate with suppliers, how to design layouts. They were experts. Going online meant learning new technology, building new systems. Admitting their expertise was becoming obsolete. It meant admitting everything we've mastered might not matter anymore. That's terrifying. So they stayed. In a world they understood that was disappearing around them. The parable, the ferryman's oar. There's a parable about a ferryman. He'd rowed the same river for 50 years. Every current, every hidden rock, every seasonal change. He knew it all. The village depended on him. He was the only way across. One day, engineers came. They started building a bridge a mile upstream. Villagers were excited. "We won't have to wait for the ferry. We won't have to pay the crossing fee. We can cross any time." The ferryman watched and said, "That bridge changes nothing for me. I control my boat. I know this river. The bridge controls nothing." The bridge was completed. People stopped using the ferry. Why wait? Why pay? The bridge was faster, free, always there. The ferryman sat in his boat, still the master of his craft, still in complete control, still knew every current. He had control over his boat, but he didn't control where people chose to cross. His expertise was perfect for a service no one needed anymore. The ferryman, Sears, your career, you've mastered your field. 15 years of experience. You know every tool, every process, every system. Then a new technology emerges. Automation, a better process. You could learn the new thing, start over as a beginner, feel incompetent temporarily, or stay with what you know, remain the expert. Feel in control. You stay, because mastery feels safer than uncertainty. 5 years later, your expertise is valuable in a field that barely exists. Your money or your money strategy. You keep everything in savings accounts. I control it. I can see it. It's safe. Meanwhile, inflation is 3% per year. Your safe money is losing 3% annually. You have control over where the money sits, but you don't have control over its value. You could invest, but investing means less control, more uncertainty, trusting systems you don't fully understand. So you stay in savings, controlling your way into poverty, your resistance to change, or any change, new job opportunity, new relationship, new city, new approach. The current situation isn't great, but it's familiar. You know how it works. You've adapted to it. You control your response to it. The new thing might be better, but you don't control it yet. So you stay. Where you have control, pause. Over a life that's not moving. Here's how to escape the control illusion. Step 1. Distinguish control from influence. Ask, do I control the outcome or just my actions? You control your effort, your decisions, your response. You don't control markets, other people. Technology shifts the future. Stop trying to control what you can only influence. Step 2, test your assumptions. Ask, what am I assuming will stay the same? Sears assumed people would always prefer physical shopping. Their brand loyalty would last forever. The past predicted the future. All wrong. What are you assuming won't change? Step 3, build adaptability, not rigidity. Control is rigid. I only do it this way. Adaptability is flexible. I can do it this way or that way, depending on what works. Stop optimizing for control. Start optimizing for adaptability. The last Sears store closed in 2021, 128 years of American retail gone. Amazon thrives, not because they had better control, but because they adapted faster. Sears controlled their stores perfectly and lost everything. The question isn't, how do I stay in control? The question is, am I controlling the right thing? You can master the ore, but if the world has moved to bridges, your mastery is irrelevant. Let go of control over what was. Adapt to what is. Survive what's coming. The river keeps flowing. The question is, will you build a bridge to perfect your rowing?